What if your worst first impression turned out to be the love of your life? Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice asks this question through one of literature's most electric romantic tensions and delivers a story that's as sharp and relevant today as it was 2 centuries ago. Published in 1813, Pride and Prejudice emerged from the pen of Jane Austen, a woman who never married but understood human nature with surgical precision. Written during the Regency era, when a woman's entire future depended on making a good match, Austen took what could have been a simple romance and transformed it into a brilliant social satire that skewers class prejudice, gender expectations, and the absurdities of polite society. Meet the Bennet family. 5 unmarried daughters, a mother obsessed with getting them married, and a father who's checked out behind his library door. When wealthy bachelor Charles Bingley rents nearby Netherfield Park, Mrs. Bennet sees dollar signs, or rather, pound signs. Bingley falls hard for the eldest daughter Jane, who's beautiful, kind, and almost too good for this world. But Bingley brings a friend. Enter Fitzwilliam Darcy, proud, wealthy, and so aloof he insults our heroine, Elizabeth Bennet, within earshot at their first meeting. He declares her merely tolerable and not handsome enough to tempt him. Elizabeth, brilliant and independent-minded, decides Darcy is everything wrong with the aristocracy: arrogant, prejudiced, and cruel. Her impression seems confirmed when the charming officer George Wickham tells her that Darcy ruined his life, denying him a promised inheritance. Then Darcy commits an unforgivable sin. He convinces Bingley to abandon Jane, breaking her heart. Elizabeth despises him completely. So naturally, Darcy falls desperately in love with her. His first proposal is a disaster. He essentially says he loves her despite her inferior connections and low social standing. Elizabeth unleashes one of literature's greatest rejections, telling him he's the last man in the world she could ever marry. Humiliated, Darcy writes her a letter explaining everything. Wickham is actually a gambler and a liar who tried to elope with Darcy's 15-year-old sister for her fortune. As for Jane and Bingley, Darcy genuinely believed Jane didn't love Bingley back. He was trying to protect his friend from heartbreak. Elizabeth's certainties crumble. She realizes her prejudice has been as blind as his pride. When she visits Darcy's estate, Pemberley, she sees a different man. The staff adore him, and he's unexpectedly kind. Then crisis strikes. Elizabeth's youngest sister, Lydia, elopes with the despicable Wickham without marriage, threatening to ruin the entire family's reputation. Darcy secretly pays Wickham's enormous debts and forces him to marry Lydia, saving the Bennets from social destruction. He does this for Elizabeth, expecting nothing in return. Bingley returns to Jane. Darcy's aunt tries to bully Elizabeth into promising never to marry him, which only convinces Darcy that Elizabeth's feelings might have changed. He proposes again, this time with humility. This time, she says yes. Austen's genius is hiding deep themes inside sparkling entertainment. The novel explores how pride and prejudice work together. Darcy's pride in his social position creates Elizabeth's prejudice against him, while her pride in her judgment makes her prejudiced against evidence that contradicts her views. It's about the danger of first impressions and the importance of self-awareness. The book also dissects marriage as an economic institution. Charlotte marries the ridiculous Mr. Collins purely for security. Lydia chases excitement without thought. Jane and Bingley represent affection without much depth. Only Elizabeth demands both love and respect, refusing to compromise her integrity for financial security. Austen shows that real partnership requires seeing past surfaces to recognize true character, and requires us to recognize our own flaws first. Pride and Prejudice endures because it's genuinely funny, genuinely romantic, and genuinely smart. Austen's wit cuts like a scalpel, her dialogue crackles, and Elizabeth Bennet remains one of fiction's most appealing heroines. Clever, flawed, and real. Beyond the love story, It's a masterclass in how we judge others and ourselves, making it perpetually relevant in our age of instant opinions and social performance. Subscribe for a new classic every week. Next up, Wuthering Heights, because if you thought Darcy was brooding, wait until you meet Heathcliff. Thanks for listening, and remember, sometimes the person who challenges you most is exactly who you need.